Welcome to another episode. We hope you enjoy what we have for you today. Please comment below if you want to see anything that we haven't done so far. Please let us know. But hope you enjoyed today's episode. All right, so I stepped away from my shop for a little bit, which is right next door. Came to this little restaurant next door to us. I want to talk a little bit about consignment pieces. So I actually stepped out of my shop so I won't be distracted, but we came next door and there's a lot of music here, and then there's people walking around everywhere, so there's a little bit of a distraction. But anyways, we're gonna just roll with it. Hopefully the audio is not too bad. Yeah, people are speeding down over here. They need to slow down a little bit. But anyway, so let's talk about consignment pieces, because I know this was and it still is a very big topic. A lot of people are still talking about it. So consigning watches has been around for a very long time. I mean, people don't just consign watches with watch dealers. People are also consigning cars, they're consigning artwork and stuff like that. So this is something that's been going on for a very long time. It's just part of many businesses that resell items. They always take in stuff on consignment from clients. So there are benefits to that for the dealers and also for the consigners. So the benefits, for example, for me as a dealer, okay, hold on, I'm gonna take a break, drink some of my tea while this truck is backing up. It's not even a truck, it's a small SUV. That means break time. So the benefits of consignment for someone like me is, first of all, of course, that I don't have to put money out of my own pocket to buy inventory. I can have inventory in my stock that sometimes I would not otherwise have if a person doesn't come to consign something. There are certain watches that I've never had experience with, that I've never experienced selling. So if there's a client that brings in a watch and I've never experienced selling that watch, I'd feel more comfortable taking it in on consignment, because I don't have to put money out of my pocket, and also that I don't know how fast that watch could sell. So that's one of the benefits. Of course, not having to put money out of my pocket. No, you're okay. Thank you. No, that's yours. That's not mine, bro. Is it still rolling? All right, before I was rudely interrupted. No, I'm just kidding. One of the benefits for myself for taking things in on consignment is that I do not have to put money out of my pocket. I get to experience certain watches that I wouldn't otherwise experience if somebody wouldn't bring it in. Like, there are some watch brands like AP and Patek and Vacheron, some very high-end watches that I maybe would have never gotten into if it wasn't for some of my clients. We're laughing because of the noise. It's pretty loud. I left my shop so I can have some peace and quiet, and it's very loud over here. But anyways, let's keep going. Stop making me laugh. A benefit to the client for bringing stuff in on consignment, first of all, is safety for them. I've had clients that have tried to sell watches on their own, and they've met a potential buyer like at a Starbucks, and like, for example, I know this one young man, he actually bought a watch from me for $6,000, and he found a buyer for it for $6,500. He was trying to flip it fast, make a quick profit. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So this young man bought a watch from me for $6,000. He tried to flip it for $6,500. He met the potential client at a Starbucks. The client handed him an envelope full of cash. So my customer, he's holding on to the envelope with cash. And the potential buyer, he takes the watch, and then he takes off running, gets into a vehicle, and they drive off. In that envelope was just a bunch of $1 bills. So a lot of times, also, there are people that, not only for safety reasons, but also they just don't have the knowledge on what platform to sell their item, how to advertise it, how to take proper photography, or even how to properly describe it. So there are people that they might have owned a watch for 30 or 40 years, but they don't know what the reference number is. They don't even know the exact year of the watch. So a benefit to our clients, to our consigners, is that we do all that work for them. First of all, it's safe for them. You know, they come, they bring it in to us. We'll take care of everything, and we'll charge either a small fee, or what I like to do, I don't like to charge a fee. I kind of like to do a market research to see what the item is selling for, and I come to an agreement with the client. I'll say, okay, for example, I'll get you 12,000. So I tried to, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get 12.5 for it. So I'm already trying to put myself into making a little bit of a profit. So whatever it is that I can get above that 12,000, or whatever the price point that we set together with the consigner, I will try to get them that exact amount, and whatever the overage is, obviously that's my profit. So sometimes it works out good, sometimes it doesn't. There's times that, you know, I've made $1,000 on a watch. You know, like I've promised the consigner 10 grand and I sold it for 11, and that was my profit. There's many times that I've sold a watch for 10 grand and I made $100 or $200. But overall, it works out, and I try to be very fair to my consigners. And I know there's a lot of watch dealers out there right now that are discouraging consigning watches, and one of the reasons being is that, yeah, there are risks involved, because there are bad dealers out there. Like, I don't want to mention any names, but everybody already knows about the watch dealer that took the money that he made off of people's watches that they consigned, and he just spent that money, and he's in prison now. But anyhow, if you find a dealer that you've trusted for many years, you've done business with, and you know that if something does happen, they can take care of you, then there should be no problem with you consigning that item. Case in point, in 2021, I was leaving an IWJG watch trade shows. I was robbed at gunpoint. I usually don't carry stuff with me. I ship it into the show, I ship it back home. But it just so happened that I did 2 shows in Las Vegas in 2021. October 2021, I had done 2 shows back to back, and they were 2 of the best shows that I've ever had. It was the last day of the show for the IWJG, and I was tired. My flight was at 8:30 at night. I was tired. I just wanted to get out of there early, come home early, so I rebooked to an earlier flight. So because I did that, I had to scramble and I had to put my stuff away quickly, and instead of shipping it back home, I took it with me. So I put it in my backpack. I had a backpack, and I had 2 small carry-on luggages, the roller kind. And I got in the Uber vehicle on the Tropicana property, and immediately I was surrounded by 2 vehicles. I don't want to get much more into detail about that. Maybe I can talk about that in a different video. But anyways, I was robbed. I lost over $600,000 worth of stuff. A lot of the stuff at those 2 shows I had sold. I sold about 35 watches at those 2 shows. And out of those 35 watches, about 2 watches were consignment pieces. The rest were mine. And we sold those. And luckily, a lot of the cash I gave to a partner of mine. And then a lot of the checks that I had, I deposited already. After the first show, I went through drive-through to my bank and I actually deposited the checks. Some of the checks I deposited online through my phone. So luckily, a lot of that money was already deposited, but I was left with over $600,000 worth of inventory, and that was my cost. That was what the consigners wanted for their pieces. There's a lot of pieces that we lost that, like, we put money into. They had potential to resell for a lot more. That was just basically my cost, or my consigner's cost, what we agreed on. And so there was potential to sell those for more money, obviously. But my consigners, like I said, I lost about $600,000. And all my consigners, there were about 5 consigners, and total out of that $600,000, about, let's see, 150, 350, 450, about $450,000 were watches that belonged to my consigners, and we paid them off. My insurance, to this date, it's been over 2 years, and my insurance company has only paid me $9,400. However, I made it right with my consigners. I did whatever I had to do to pay them. Like, I sold many of my personal watches, and I did what I had to do to pay off my consigners. And in fact, out of those consigners, I think 3 of them right now have watches on consignment with me as we speak. So they trust me. But if you're a reputable dealer, this is what you're going to do. If something ever happens, you're going to take care of your consigners. So this is why people trust us, and this is why I encourage, if you have a piece and you want to consign, take it to somebody you trust, take it to somebody you know, take it to somebody that you've done business with before. So to touch up more on that point, there are a lot of dishonest dealers in this business, but there are many reputable businesses, there are many reputable dealers. Nowadays you can research everybody online, you can Google them, you can find out so much about them, you can read their reviews, stuff like that, you can ask around about them. But in general, like businesses that have been established for a long time, like ours, we're a family business established for over 100 years. My great-grandfather started this business in Romania before 1900s. It was somewhere around 1899 or something like that, or 1889. And then my grandfather did this all his life. When World War I broke out, my grandfather was in first grade, and he only did 3 months of first grade, and that was it. He never went back to school again, and all he knew how to do all his life is repair watches and clocks, and that's all he did with my great-grandfather. And my father, he began learning how to repair watches and clocks at the age of 8, and by the age of 12, he quit 7th grade, and he went full-time with my grandfather. My father is 67 years old today, and he's been behind the bench 55 years. And we came to America in 1987, and we were able to reestablish the business here in 1989, and we've continued ever since. I started learning how to repair watches from my dad at the age of 11. I worked with him from the age of 11 to the age of 16, while also I was in school. After that, I wanted to kind of do my own thing, but now for the last 20 years, I've been working with my father full-time. But our business we've never closed doors. We've never really taken a break. This is what we do. We've been established for a long time. And so I'm not saying that, hey, consign your watches with us, although we do take stuff in on consignment, but whenever you're considering consigning a watch or multiple watches, find somebody that's been established for a long time, because they're not a fly-by-night establishment. You know that they're not going to do you wrong, and they know if something happens, they will take care of you. Like I recently had a customer of mine, he consigned a Daytona with me, and he said, hey, what happens? And I have all these legal agreements, and in 2021, when I was robbed, every single consigner that had watches with me, they had not signed a legal agreement with me. But still, I don't care about the legal agreement. I know that I lost their watches. I paid them out. We did whatever we had to do to pay them out. So we have legal agreements for our consigners, but most of the time people come in and they trust us just because they've been doing business with us for a long time. And somebody recently asked me, what happens if, you get robbed, or, somebody breaks in, and look, we're very secure, we're insured, we got this, we got that, but ultimately we're responsible. If something does happen, something goes wrong, we're responsible to pay back the consigner, to pay back their watches. So what are the other things that I could add to this? No matter how long you've been in this business as a dealer, it's like you never have enough money to buy all the watches that there are out there. Like I have dealer friends that they have, anywhere between $1 to $10 million of inventory at any given time, and there's dealers that have $50 to $100 million of inventory at any given time. And I can tell you that no watch dealer ever has enough money. They're always out of money, because we're always buying watches pretty much with every penny we have, especially that we're in this business and we believe in this. Otherwise, we wouldn't be continuing to buy watches. But so, again, we can't, we don't have an unlimited amount of funds, but yet we still want to take certain watches in. And it helps us too. So our clients that want to consign the items and we don't have the money to purchase everything, we'll either make them an offer or we'll give them a consignment price. And that's how it usually is in this business. But another thing I wanted to say, I know a lot of dealers discourage people from consigning watches, but We have customers that have been our customers since I was a kid, and I worked with my father and grandfather in our shop, which is not too far away from here, in the 1990s. And those customers, still to this day, they come to us. And from time to time, I have clients that they want to just sell their entire collection, and I don't want to buy everything, or like my offer would be too low, or I know that the pieces that they have would take too long to move, and I don't want to invest my money in watches that do not sell within 3 to 6 months. A lot of times, because they're a good client of ours and they do not know how to sell on their own, they don't know how to list stuff online. So we do that as a favor, and of course we will charge them for that. It's not just a favor, we're not going to do it for free, but we do. There's stuff we take in sometimes that I wouldn't buy, but I want to take care of our clients. And also, when we're taking stuff in on consignment, like sometimes people are overpriced, they want way too much for their item, and we don't even take stuff in on consignment if it's not realistic. Like if the fair market value on something is 12 grand and the person wants 12 grand, and let's say my buy offer is like 10 grand and then my consignment offer is 10,500, that's all I would do. If the customer is not willing to work with us, we're not going to take it in, because we don't want to have items just to show, hey, look at us, we have nice watches in. We want to take stuff in that is movable and that we can sell to our clients at a fair price. So we want to be fair to our consigners, but we also want to be fair to our clients that do buy watches from us. So we're always on top of the market. We're checking prices daily to see what things are selling for, and we try to be very competitive with our prices. Okay, so overall, to recap what I'm saying about consignment, I mean, again, there's benefits to both sides. Benefits to the dealers that take stuff in on consignment, but there's also benefits to the consigners. It's safe for them to bring to a dealer that they trust and that they've done business with for a long time. So that's beneficial to both parties, but there's, of course, I'm not gonna lie, there are risks for the consigners also. But there's also risk keeping the watches at home or trying to sell on your own. So it's just a decision that you have to make on your own. And if you do decide to consign your watch with a watch dealer or a jewelry store, whatever it may be, just make sure it's somebody that's trustworthy, and if something does happen, they will take care of you right away, because you want to get paid out right away. So my recommendation to you, if you're a consigner, if you're taking a watch in to consign to somebody, ask a lot of questions, get to know the person, get to know the company. There's no harm in asking them, hey, what happens if my watch gets lost or stolen? You have the right to retrieve your watch at any time. So basically, I'm very lenient with my consigners. Like, some consigners will drop something off, and like a week later they change their mind, and even like I said, we have written contracts, but if they change their mind, I'm like, we're a family business, so we will do whatever it takes to take care of our client. They change their mind, I'm not gonna go, hey, look, you said you'll leave it with us for 30 days. It doesn't matter, we'll give it back to the client. I think that's the way you should do business. I know a lot of big companies, they're always stuck on all these rules, and that's great. Rules and contracts are made to protect both parties, but when you're a family-owned business such as ourselves, we are lenient to our clients too. So, at night, everything that we have, not just our own items, but also the watches that we have in for consignment, they're always locked up. They're in our safe. Throughout the day, they are protected. We take certain measures to protect all of the property that we have on site. And so that's other advice that I can give to somebody that's considering to consign an item is just, do your homework, research the person that you intend to do business with, and ask questions, take pictures when you're dropping off the watch with them, sign whatever contract you need to sign. Make sure you have a copy of that, make sure everything's written down. And that's all I can say for now. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, comment below, things like that. Thank you. Man, this lumpia, these are really good. They're cold. I was talking too long, and now they got cold, but they're still good. Right next door to Paul's Watch Repair. Raimond 101, shout out to them. So we had a Rolex Submariner in stock, and it needed a new clasp, and we cannot get parts for that. So I sent my son to our local Rolex AD. So here in Sacramento, we only have one Rolex authorized dealer. I sent my son to them so he can take the watch in and have them check it out and service it for us, send it to the Rolex Service Center. And that was on November 12th, and today is December 21st, and the watch has come back already. So total time is about, 5 weeks? And that was fairly fast. I just want my son to talk a little bit about how was the process of you dropping it off with them and everything. What do you feel about it?
So it was fairly easy. I just walked in. I told them straight up. I was like, I need this, and that done to the watch. And they came in. They looked at it. The whole process took about, I would say, 20 minutes.
So 20 minutes for them to receive it, take it in,
everything,
get the information from you and serial number and stuff like that. So the ADs, they will take your watch in and they will send it out to the Rolex Service Center. Well, how did they treat you? I mean, because you're a fairly young guy and you go in there with a very expensive watch.
Yeah, they were nice. If you know, with the ADs, every person's experience is different. Transaction-wise, because they can pick and choose, how they treat people. But they were nice to me, and there was no issue going in, so it was pretty easy.
Let's show off the watch a little bit, and just so I can explain the watch. A couple issues that it had was here on this part here. This little piece was broken. The logo broke off. So just because we couldn't replace it, we had to send it in to the service center. And Rolex, they wouldn't just do this, just the clasp. They had to do everything on the watch. So they charged us for a complete overhaul service, which was $850. Replacing that piece on the clasp that was broken was $672. Then they put a new crown in for $185 and a new crystal for $135. And with taxes and everything, the total cost was $1,918, and it took 5 weeks. It seems like it's quite a lot, but to bring the watch back to working order, and I mean they polished it, it looks very nice. I think it's totally worth it. So we're gonna have this watch actually available for sale. How was it when you picked it up though today? Was your experience the same, or how did they treat you when you went in to pick up the watch?
Same process, I would say. Funny thing is, there was the advisor and the cashier were both new, so let that pass by. They were both new, so it kind of did take a little bit longer. They were going to other advisors and they're kind of scattered, but it was easy. Same. I also, jumping off topic, but I dropped off a ladies' day dress as well as I came back for papers. So I went there, picked up the watch, left, and then went back again because we didn't get the work order form on paper.
You went back in because you picked up the watch and they didn't give you the work order. I wanted the work order just so we can show when we resell the watch, we can show our customer that, hey, we put some money into it with Rolex. So going back to your experience, you said they were a little bit scattered, stuff like that. They were trying to find the watch, but they gave you the watch. They treated you right. You went back. We dropped off another watch, which is a ladies' Rolex. Just needs a lot of parts that we cannot get. And again, we had to go through Rolex for that. But show them the new service cards. Sure. All right, so these new cards have a QR code on the back. They're a hard card, not like the soft cards that they've used in the past. And you can just scan it on your phone or tap it on your phone. And as soon as I tap it, immediately it takes you here, and it has the serial number. It shows the reference number of the watch, and it shows when the guarantee or warranty expires. So it would expire in January of 2026. They give a 2-year warranty on the items that they service. So that's pretty cool. An easy system that they use nowadays. You got the card, but don't lose the card. You lose the card, then it's very likely that they're not going to take it in for service unless you obviously you have other receipts or things like that to show them. Okay, so this is another watch that just came in a few minutes ago with FedEx. We purchased it off of eBay, and it went through eBay's authentication center. And I know I mentioned it before, but I like what eBay does now by using their authentication center, that any watch over $2,000 goes to their authentication center, and they have experienced watchmakers on staff that they verify the watches and make sure everything's legit, everything is like as described on eBay. And if it's not, they will send it back to the seller. But here it is. This is supposed to be a brand new Submariner. And it's supposed to be fully stickered, which is very hard to get watches that are fully stickered from Rolex anymore, because as soon as you buy it, they want to take all the stickers off for you. As you can see, it still has the barcode here. This thing was placed on by eBay's authentication center. But it's hard to see, but there's stickers on the clasp, there's stickers on the bracelet, stickers here. What we call this is really a fresh watch when it has all these stickers still intact. And we can actually, I'm going to remove this tag because we're not returning the watch. If you remove this tag, the eBay's authentication center will not allow you to return the watch, but we don't need to return it. I want to show it to my son, see what he thinks. Check it out. We've had many new Rolexes in stock, and we have some, but not like fully stickered like that.
Yeah, so funny thing, I was just talking to him about this exact sub, and I didn't know he was getting this. So what I was telling my dad about this watch about a week ago, and prior I didn't even know that he was getting this in stock, was that this watch actually doesn't really fluctuate in price that much. And I was thinking this would be a nice personal into my own collection one day.
Yeah, it's definitely a great watch to park your money in. Rolexes overall are great watches if you want to park your money in something more so than anything else. And especially models like this, like the Rolex Submariner, Rolex Daytona. You can enjoy the watch, use the watch, and you can pretty much sell it within 24 hours or less if you're in need of money. Value is always going to be there. The value has fluctuated a little bit in the last few years on the subs, but I mean, it's still there. For example, this one we're going to be asking somewhere close to $16,000. It's a little bit higher than some of them that are brand new on the market, but it's also probably one of the very few that you will find that's fully stickered. So somebody can purchase it and just put it away for 5 to 10 years. That's what a lot of people like to do to park their money. So you're paying a little bit of a premium now. A lot of these brand new ones, they can be found for $14,500, $15,000, $15,500, but not fully stickered. So we're probably going to sell between $15,500 to $16,000 for this one. Definitely a good piece to buy and park your money in. And if you do decide to use it, and you're still going to get your money back later on, or even if you take a little bit of a hit, you're not going to lose a ton of money on Rolex. All right, so we got another Rolex Submariner Hulk-in. So right now we have 5 of them in stock. But the Hulks and the Pepsis, they're actually one of the Rolexes that have gone up in price this year. So we've sold quite a few this year, and we've seen them creep up already. I know some people are waiting for the prices to continue to drop on stuff, and like I said, on certain items, prices have already crept up a little bit. What's really special about this one, it's a first-year model, a 2010. The box, as you can see, to some people this doesn't mean anything, but to a collector this actually adds value. Crazy as it is, I know to some people they'll laugh at it and they'll say, I'm not going to spend an extra $500 or whatever, but there are collectors that pay an extra $500 just for having the sticker on the sleeve. And let's see how it looks inside. So it's got both of the hang tags with the matching serial number. take a look at it, see what you think. It hasn't been polished. It's a used watch.
Nothing we haven't seen before, but it's always nice to get these in.
I love it. So the Rolex Hulk, there are people that love it, and there are people that do not want it in their collections. I mean, it's a green color. You can't wear it with everything. Like if you're a guy that likes to match, I mean, like it wouldn't go with, you know, my blue shirt today, but if you have several watches in your collection, it's definitely nice. And if you can obviously afford it, it's definitely nice to have a Hulk in your collection. Yeah. But yeah, see, it has scuffs and stuff like that. It's been used. Again, it's from 2010. First year that the Hulk came out, but it's unpolished. So it's nice for somebody to buy it, enjoy it, but they have all the full set, box, papers, everything, and even the, like I mentioned previously, the sticker on the sleeve, which is pretty cool. All right, so we have a couple other watches that we want to show real quick what came in. And these are both 41 millimeter Datejust. That's a pre-owned from 2022 last year. The client purchased it, he loved it, but he's just not wearing it, so he brought it in to us to try to sell for him. He's a very good client of ours.
So the watch is in good condition. It has minor scratches and scuffs throughout. And the case and bracelet. Still in great condition.
And it's available for sale, and we just got this. This is it's a 2023 brand new Wimbledon. And this one also fully stickered. In fact, even these came from Rolex. This is how Rolex ships them from Switzerland here to the US. They wrap them like this, and I just removed these off to see how it looks, to verify it, to authenticate it. And it has the original stickers. It doesn't have the barcode on the side, but it has the sticker on the back. I mean, we make such a big deal out of stickers on a Rolex because, you know, a lot of watch dealers, we resell Rolex watches as new. But when a client is buying this from the authorized dealer is taking the stickers off for them on the spot, and they're sizing the bracelet for them. And a lot of times, customer, if they, you know, they don't wear the watch or they want to resell it, it's nicer to have all the original stickers on there because you know it doesn't have any minor scuffs. So it's easier for us when we try to resell it to a client to tell them, hey, it's completely new, it's protected, But so this Wimbledon dial Rolex is a 41 millimeter. This is actually one of the easiest watches to sell right now. Out of every watch out there, out of every brand, this is, I would say, probably in the top 10 in the world right now as far as turnover rate, how fast you can sell this watch. It's very desirable. Jubilee bracelet, white gold fluted bezel. It's a nice watch, and I think this is
one of my favorites.
Is it? Yeah. So we've had this before. We've had new, we've had pre-owned, but I never had new with stickers. I don't remember having new with stickers, so pretty cool. I bought this from a client of ours that he's actually sold me watches in the past, and recently he came across our YouTube videos, and he just reached out to us again. He said, hey, I sold you watches in the past. I got some watches to sell. Okay, so from the same gentleman in Florida, we bought the Datejust Wimbledon, and we also bought this vintage Tudor. Do you remember what year that's from?
1984.
That's right, yeah. So it was like a transitional Tudor Submariner.
All original.
It's got all the characteristics of a Rolex Submariner. You see Rolex logo everywhere on the back, on the crown.
I think you've done some battery work on that watch.
Yeah, this is a really cool watch. I love Tudor watches.